Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nintendo Duel Screens, episode 132, the NDS Awards 2019, with your hosts, Stephen Fontana and Andy Asimakis. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nintendo Duel Screens episode 132, the one before the last one. This is our NDS Awards for 2019. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me each and every week, as always, is Andy Asimakis. How are you, Andy?
What the fuck was that voice?
I've done it every award show, so I don't understand why you're surprised.
I don't think it was ever that flamboyant. I don't know how I want to phrase that or characterize that voice.
It's supposed to be the woman that does the thing. The nominees are...
Oh, you're doing your Game Awards voice.
That's what I'm doing.
Can we update that in 2020? I feel like it could be better.
I don't want to do any of this anymore. I'm pretty much...
You guys leave your wife do it.
No. You know, we should get Sissy Jones. Let's get Sissy Jones to do it.
Sissy Jones? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get Sissy.
She's trained.
Yeah.
She's a trained...
We'll have her and Frida Wolf mud wrestle over who gets to do the...
You know what we should do? We should have our celebrity and voice actor friends present awards. That's what we should do. Hello, everybody. For those of you that are new to NDS Podcast, this is a Nintendo show where
Yes.
Andy and I go over the Nintendo news and talk about the indies and Nintendo's past, present, and future.
But not today.
Today we're giving out our awards, of course, for the year. And next week is the final NDS podcast, in which we're just going to reminisce about the old times. But of course, as you know, if you've been listening for the past few weeks, and you go back into our history, we have decided that we're rebranding Nintendo Dual Screens to just be the Dual Screens Games Cast, and the interviews that we used to do on each and every episode are now their own podcast called the Dual Screens Podcast, which has already started. And that posts each and every Monday, and there are 3 or 4 episodes up there now.
Saying Monday, it's Thursday.
I said Thursday.
You did
each and every
not.
Thursday.
No, we did not.
This show posts each and every
Yes,
Monday.
it does.
The interview posts each and every Thursday.
Yes, it does.
On the same feed, so you don't even have to
Yes,
sub
it
in 2
does.
spots. Yet, if we could get the listener base that we want, we might have to split it up, because that's what everybody tells me I should be doing. Anyway.
When we get to that point, we'll see what we can do.
We post everywhere. We post on our host site, Podbean. We post on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, pretty much anywhere where you can find podcasts, the show will post. And of course, you can find all of our stuff on duelscreens.com. That's DUEL screens.com. If you're on Apple Podcasts, can you leave us a friggin' review? Because apparently that's the only way to
good
get
or bad.
noticed.
We'll take the bad. We will leave the bad on the air too.
I mean, I would
Let's have it.
hope that you
Just tell us how
don't
you
have a
feel.
bad review.
Yeah, even if it's bad, let us have it.
But if you leave a 5-star, we're gonna read it.
Yeah,
sure.
We'll do it 1 star too. Why not? We'll be like reading mean tweets. We'll read mean reviews. We'll do that too.
Yeah,
guys.
I mean,
I don't give a shit.
I'm down with
I'm
that.
curious.
Remember, folks, we want you to be a part of the next of the final episode. So please, if you have any favorite memories or anecdotes or any questions you want to ask us on the final episode, please get those into us. You can email us at feedback@ndspodcast.com. That's feedback@ndspodcast.com, and put in the subject line NDS memories. That's it. That'll be it. NDS memories, not memories. Memories. If you want to support the show monetarily, you can do so on Patreon by going to patreon.com/NDS podcast. Just like our Patreon producer. Actually, I'm sorry. He's no longer a Patreon producer, but that's only for the time being. So I started that, and I probably should stop that. So I'm going to stop that. But remember, you could consider, you could back us for as little as $1. Every little dollar does help us. And we are sponsored this week by Melted Pins, like we are each and every week for the last few months. But I'll tell you about that later. Okay, Andy.
Yes.
Before we get into the NDS Awards, before we get into all of that,
What else is there to get into?
let's talk about what we've been playing, my handsome dude.
Oh, I told you in the pre-show, Metal Gear Solid. That's what I've been playing.
You don't have any Nindies?
I don't. I have no Nindies of the week. I told you I bought a bunch of games this weekend with the intention of playing them because I feel once next year hits, March comes around with that FF7 remake.
Sure.
Looks like so delicious and tasty.
Scrumdiddlyumptious, as
So
it were.
like insert my whole body into it and just die a happy man. I was like, I'll buy some games. Look at the backlog. There's some awesome sales going on this time of year.
There is.
So I bought some stuff. I did buy some indies and some Nindies. And I'm not sure why I was just in the mood to play through the original Metal Gear Solid. I don't know why. Something just compelled me. I was drawn to play it. And I did that all weekend, unfortunately. So no Nindies from Andy this week. But I played a lot of Killer Queen Black. Did that because I played our interview with them, which is this Thursday released. A little plug for that game, for that show coming up.
Hell yeah. Coming up.
That interview got me excited about the game again, so I put it on for a little bit, did some random matches. It's fun. I love it. If you got some friends around or just want a fun multiplayer game, Killer Queen Black is the way to go. And it might win our Game of the Year multiplayer category. Who knows?
You never know. Who knows? You never know.
What about you?
I've been playing. I played Ring Fit Adventure. You got me that as a gift.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
To you.
You just called me fat, but that's all right.
Listen, I want us to be in fighting trim shape for PAX East 2020.
Here's the thing. Here's the one thing. My one complaint
we're
so
gonna be
far.
golden gods.
I was only able to do one like workout.
Did you turn like eggplant purple when you did it? Like
I got up. No. I was actually good. I was sweating, but I was good.
Like
I got
70 calories you lost. I was like, oh, this is
71 calories.
This is bullshit.
I got up to the boss, and then it told me to stop. It was like, you could fight the boss another day or whatever. So I was like, okay,
I think
fine.
I burned more calories for it.
The biggest complaint I have is there are too many squat-based exercises to start.
Listen,
you only get 4. I know, but that's my weakest thing. I can't do as many as they ask.
It knows.
I did. I was able to, but it was really cutting it close. Like, I was shaking.
Do you prefer
my legs
burpees
were shaking.
over squats?
No, I prefer not doing that much leg shit.
Listen, you can't ignore the
any
legs.
chance I
Don't
had,
skip
I was
leg
throwing the
day.
arms.
That's what all the guys tell me at the gym.
No, never skip leg day. But I have strong legs. I don't have very long. I don't have longevity in my legs. But like, I have powerful legs. I could push very heavy things. I just can't do it for long. Anyway,
back when I was on the dating scene in the gay world years ago, many moons ago, when I was in my early 20s, I was very physically fit. Like I would do squats while brushing my teeth in the morning before leaving the house. That
might be just a mental illness.
Well, that's because
coming to the surface.
Listen, that's because when you're in the gay community, there's a certain body standard. And I was trained to hate my fatness. Still do.
Right.
But now it's more for a personal reasons, not for a, to get laid anymore.
I am down from 215. I am now 191.
Look at you. Keep that going strong through the holiday. Eat that rum ham. Eat that ham.
I've been eating like shit, but I've not been eating a lot.
It's the time of the year for that anyway. Don't worry about it. Yeah. All right, so Ring Fit Adventure, you're loving it. The squats. Do more squats.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm going to do more. Maybe maybe when I start feeling better.
By the time,
I can't breathe, for God's sake.
PAX East rolls around,
we're going to be Adonises.
We're going to be fucking golden gods.
We are going to go in there. I mean, I say we wear wrestling singlets.
We should.
And streamers.
Yes.
and body and face paint.
Mhm.
All right, so that's what we're playing. What could we be playing? Let's talk about what's releasing this week.
Besides with each other.
Yeah, Christmas. Christmas is this Christmas season. These people are putting their games out, I guess, hoping that they're going to get that download boost for the new Switch owners. We have The Adventures of Elena Temple Definitive Edition, as if we needed that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Which edition should I get? Should I get I
don't know. Definitive. Yeah, it probably has like an extra soundtrack or some art.
MSRP $4.99 to $3.99.
Wow, look at that. That's
Barbarous Tavern of Emer. Drop It Block Paradise.
I think Drop is what you should be doing right now.
Xenoraptor, which looks really cool.
What Raptor?
Xenoraptor.
I've heard about this game.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Then there's the Oniken Unstoppable Edition and Odalis The Dark Call Bundle. As you know, I've reviewed both of those games. I don't remember. Yeah, they're okay. They're one of them is significantly better than the other, but I don't remember which one. I think Odalis was the one I really liked.
Yes, because I recall you bitching about the other one a little bit.
Yeah. It was just I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was whatever. Tamashi is coming out as well. That looks a little creepy. Maybe could be an NDS Andy game.
Mm-hmm.
8-Ball Pocket, which I'm pretty positive is the 30th pool game we've gotten on the Switch this year. Stramium Mortally.
I feel bad for these games.
That game that's one that we're getting reviewed for dual screens. It should be done soon.
Like right now, you're seeing all the titles. I don't have the list in my face, so it's all blind to me. And you just by the names alone, and nothing sounds like I should be playing it.
Really? What about Gunma's Ambition? You and me are Gunma.
Is someone gun? The other one's ma?
I don't know.
And
it says
when our
Gunma's
powers combine, we're
Ambition.
Gunma.
You and me are Gunma.
Uh-huh.
Akuto Showdown.
Okay.
I'm gonna open this one because this one actually looks quasi interesting. I'm gonna open that one up. Okay. That one, okay. I don't know what's happening, but it looks okay.
What's the price tag?
It is $7.99. Here we go. Akuto Showdown is an isometric, fast-paced action game where players fight with different weapons in intense battles. The game is set on various stages where players have to not only watch out for opponents, but also the environment from killing them. Cars on the streets, trains, and gunslingers all wait for your one careless step. The arenas are set in many different themes like Wild West or medieval Japan. It looks cool.
Well, this means just thrown Killer Queen Black for best multiplayer game of the year.
It did it.
That just did it right there.
Got it.
That's all it took.
Rolled, ROLL''.
Sure.
Arcade Archives.
Okay, got it. Yes.
Yeah. Arcade Archives versus Balloon Fight.
Yes, there's that.
And that's it.
Oh my god, that's just.
That's it.
It's in a realm of so bad it's amazing. That's how I want to. That's how I want to categorize.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with that list. All right. It is time for the NDS Awards.
The song now. Yeah, you're doing the song. Yeah. He's doing the song now.
Welcome, everyone, to. Welcome.
I'll give you one guess.
NDS Awards 2019. We have, I don't know, 6, 7 awards. I don't remember. Here are our categories.
5.
Here are the categories: the Nintendo Game of the Year, the Nindie of the Year, Best First Showing, Multiplayer Game of the Year, Publisher of the Year, and the Hype Game of the Year, which we gave last week.
Well, that's easy. What? It's whatever came out this week. This week is the Hype Game of the Year. That's what we're gonna do.
So, a couple of weeks ago, we nominated. We're gonna start with Publisher of the Year. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when we did our nominees show, we only nominated Nintendo. I think that was because we made an interesting argument for why we both thought Nintendo had a really good year, despite not having one of their tentpole franchises, their tentpole mainstream franchises. Do you have any objections?
I don't.
Mm,
And that's
okay.
the only time I want to object on this segment.
Okay. The winner is Nintendo. Now, here's the thing, folks. The reason why we feel this way is because Nintendo came out with a ton of new IP, old classics, and they even revived Marvel Ultimate Alliance this year. They put out probably one of the best Fire Emblem games ever made, and that's not firsthand because I haven't played it. Andy hasn't really played it. That's why it's not nominated for one of our games of the year, I'm sure. But if you look on the internet, it's pretty much universally loved as one of the best Fire Emblems that they've ever made. So I feel like it's hard to argue against that. We got a Luigi's Mansion.
We got
We got
Pokemon, Mario Maker 2,
Pokemon.
Awakening. A lot happened
We
this
got
year.
and two new franchises, Daemon X Machina and Astral Chain. Astral Chain, of course, was better received than Daemon X Machina, but they are still taking chances on new IP, which is a really great thing to see. They were also able to get us simultaneously continue to get us excited for next year by showing us that they're working on a Breath of the Wild sequel.
We got
We still
Bayonetta
have
3, we got Metroid Prime
right.
4.
Well, I feel like they fucked up with Metroid Prime 4.
That is the only
But
slight for the year, I feel, for Nintendo.
yeah,
They kind of did
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
great stuff this year, but that was the one kind of a down note. Like,
Right.
you were doing so well, but you
Well, and
know
Animal
what? They
Crossing
owned
getting
it.
pushed
They
again.
did own that mistake. I'd rather
Right.
they recognize that it was a shaky process development wise for Metroid
Yeah.
Prime 4, stopped it. So, you know what, guys, this is not working out as great. We got Retro
Here,
back in the house now. They can do things
here's the
right.
thing: if this was Google versus Nintendo versus Sony versus Microsoft, Nintendo still takes that award as the company, the game company, or whatever you want to call it of the year.
Listen,
And I think
listen, you could shoot a baby in the face on Fifth Avenue and have the Stadia. The Stadia is still the worse off.
sure,
That's a smear to me.
sure. But my point being that aside from Xbox really getting behind Game Pass and showing the Xbox Series X, it really wasn't a great year for them either. Sony continued to sell consoles, but their first party titles sort of lacked this year for the most part.
Yep, they did.
Um,
I agree.
and they still have made some stupid mistakes as far as their services go. I think it's hard to argue Nintendo. So if Nintendo would beat all those companies, then Nintendo's definitely got to beat the best publisher on their own
And
console.
they're very consistent. And I like knowing that what they put out is solid quality titles. You look at Sony, Microsoft, it can vary year to year. They can have a great year and have an off year. Or you can have a bunch of off years and a decent year. I want you to guess who that award goes to.
Yeah.
But Nintendo is they're throughout consistent quality games. I wish they would take a few more risks though with their old IP. I love Link's Awakening.
I think it's gonna happen. I honestly I think
I really hope.
Yeah. I think Link's Awakening kind of
That bench is so deep.
I think it opened a little bit. I mean, there were the rumors of that Metroid remake, right? Super Metroid remake,
like
which I really don't think we need, but whatever.
True. Or a potential like Zelda Maker kind of game, which I would love.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'd be more into that than a Mario Maker, and I adore Mario Maker.
Oh yeah, they had that too. We'll talk about that later on. All right, Andy, why don't you pick the next category and read the nominees?
Okay.
Just pick a category. Obviously, save
the biggest for last. Yeah. I think we'll go from the bottom up. You have a good order here.
Okay.
I think reading it backwards works.
Okay, sounds good.
So the next category is the multiplayer game of the year. Our nominees were Killer Queen Black, Duck Game, Tetris 99, and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Solid choice. Great games.
Let's debate.
Within winners. Well, I have one pick. You have
That's the
three.
cool
So
that's the cool thing
I
about
think all your
the
games are
way we
trash.
do these
No,
awards is that we don't determine these beforehand really,
no, we just talk about it on the air for everyone to listen to, and then
and then we
hopefully,
concede to each other's whims.
and we
Okay,
wonder
so
why
why
we
don't
have.
you tell me why my games, the ones that I nominated, don't deserve it. Like, why don't you? Which one do you think is the weakest out
I
of the
think
list?
your weakest one here is Duck Game.
Oh, interesting.
Duck Game
Okay.
is a lot of fun. It is super fun, but it doesn't really elevate the multiplayer like standard. Like it's a simple platforming jump and shoot. It's basically Contra multiplayer. It's a bunch of weapons, one hit kills you, and you're a duck. It's fun as all hell, but I like what Killer Queen Black brings to the table.
Right. Killer Queen Black
So I think
has
if
more
those two are
depth
head to
to it.
head, Killer Queen would edge it out. Okay.
Okay.
That's that argument. Now the other two, Tetris, I hate Tetris. But this game makes me sort of like Tetris. A little bit. But I despise Battle Royale. So you lose all credibility there. Now, it's fun, but it lacks that multiplayer. I feel a big group setting. Like it's a bunch of people.
What's bigger than 99 people?
Well, you're not all fighting at one time.
Sure we are.
Eh.
It's all in real time, buddy.
Right. Yeah, kind of ish. But you're focused on your screen, Like if you fuck up, it's because of
That
you.
is why you lose, because you're not
Yeah.
paying attention to the
Right. You're watching everyone else's game. But that could it's like it's still multiplayer, yes, but it's not quite the same as you can't trash talk me while I'm playing Tetris 99. Doesn't work.
Mm.
Like in a multiplayer versus scenario, it's like the idea is there, and I appreciate it, but I don't think it rises to the level that Stop It. I did see it, by the way, and I'm not going to mention it at all.
Did see what? Oh.
Skywalker.
Okay.
All
all right.
Not getting into that, by the way. I chose to ignore
No,
it for
I
a
haven't
reason.
seen it.
Right.
I haven't seen it. No, I was doing from what the hell game was that?
I thought you were doing like when Palpatine said "Rise to Vader." At the
No,
end
maybe that's where I got it from. I don't know. Okay,
Is that
so
what you
Marvel
were recording?
Ultimate Alliance 3.
So Marvel.
No, I thought.
So to me, I feel it's
Oh.
between Killer Queen Black and Marvel.
Okay.
So this is why it's a tough choice and it's a hard debate because, on the one hand, Killer Queen Black can bring up to 8 players together, friends or people from around the world, strangers, as it were. Marvel, it revived an old franchise, a beloved franchise.
And did it well.
Yes, did it very well. Killer Queen Black, though, it took an awesome arcade game, brought it home, and made it better. They evolved it. It wasn't
They reinvented it as it were.
reborn for the home scene. So it's tough for me. Multiplayer, I feel this lends itself more to the idea of it's quick fire. It's a lot of it's straight up versus. There's 3 ways to win: the military way, the economical way, and the third one that I forget how to do. Oh, the slug. With the slug.
Yeah.
The slug way. Whatever that one's called. So there's that. I feel Marvel is fun. You and a buddy. You and a friend hanging out, It's good. You're working together. Co-op,
Yeah, I mean it's also just how they did unlockables was really
Right.
fun.
It is.
The different combinations of the teams. You didn't feel like you were making a poor choice no matter what person you chose. And they also, and I know multiplayer is the category, but they also did, if you're playing alone, swapping between the characters was really well done and seamless. So I think it was just a really well made game. and surprisingly too, because what they were showing of it in the first 2 times they showed it, it really didn't look like it was going to be very good.
Yeah, we were all
Um,
like, "Oh, it's a mobile game."
but
It looked very
it
like
definitely surprised
the
me,
production value.
and the story's really cool too.
Right.
I don't know if
Now, the
you've
one
played
thing
it
I
all
don't
the
like
way
about
through,
this
but
game is I did play it, of course. I have it. I own it. It's amazing. Even Ken loves it too. I don't like the whole there's a party leader in the group. How I can basically walk around the map and do whatever, but
right,
if
it's
if
whatever
it's
game you're
it's
joining.
whoever is the host gets to control where you're going. And I don't know. I feel like it takes me out of a little
But the
bit.
but the
As
host changes by who's got the least story
right,
unlocked.
right. But in the old format, it's if you go to the edge of the screen, we're not going nowhere until I go with you. That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, it would do it would wouldn't it split the screen?
Would it? Just halt
I
it.
don't remember. I don't
Just
remember
halt
what it
it.
used to do on the old games.
Yeah, I think it
Um,
was. It would just like kind of hang out. It wouldn't progress any further.
I think Killer Queen Black um showed a whole new audience and a whole new group of people the magic of the arcade and actually increased the interest in the arcade version. And
Plus, you really can't beat, and you'll find out all next week. I'm sorry, this Thursday when we release our interview with Liquid Bit, developer of Killer Queen Black. It has one of the most amazing backstories ever in development. Just how it came to be really blew my mind,
very interesting,
and
yes.
it gets points for that because it's a very unique story that would teach us all to take a risk and take a chance in life because things can go your way when you least expect it. If you just ask, apparently things happen for you. So it's an odd thing because I like both because they both are like on an equal footing. But I feel when I say the word multiplayer, I look more at Killer Queen Black than I would Marvel.
Sure. All right, yeah, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiplayer game of the year, Killer Queen Black.
This was not coerced or sponsored by Liquid Bit in any way. This is a totally
Sorry.
pure. Oh yeah,
Sorry, hold
you
on.
did the whole thing. Yeah, you did the whole pit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. It's Killer Queen Black.
Oh my
Okay,
god, who knew?
good.
Yes, totally. Congratulations.
All right. The next category is best first showing.
Mm.
We had Eagle Island.
And I threw one in there last minute because I'm an asshole.
Yes.
Wild card.
Apocalypse. Literally. Card
Yeah,
Apocalypse.
the literal wild card.
Sparklight. And Wide Right Interactive's Freedom Finger.
See now, my mode, my mantra, my mindset into this podcast recording was, whatever you say, I'm gonna poo poo on it and say you're wrong and you're an idiot, and I'll pick the opposite. But I feel this is the one category where I am very torn because I love all of these games.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like
And what's worse is we've heard all these
fuck,
developers'
yeah, this is hard.
backstories.
Yeah.
They've all been on the show.
I feel like Sparklight might be the most unpolished of the four.
Yes.
I feel like it has a little bit of a few rough moments. It's still a really really great game, but I feel like it needed some I don't want to say direction, but I feel like it could be refined in a few ways that would really bring it to the next level. Eagle Island is really great, but it is still to me derivative of its genre and kind of and this is my opinion. I know you really like the game. I feel like it might be a little bit too gimmicky as far as gameplay goes.
How so? I'm curious.
I just
Expand.
the whole bird thing as your weapons and like but it's basically a kind of a skin swap of like the weapons that we already know about, like, I don't know, rockets and whatever, ricochets.
Well, I think
and,
it's all about
whatever.
how you control the bird and the
Right.
whole aiming system, which is, I think, what
Right,
really
and that to me is what the gimmick
makes
is.
the moment-to-moment gameplay so addictive.
Right.
It never felt gimmicky to me at all when I was playing it.
No, I don't mean that it is gimmicky. I don't mean to say that. What I'm saying is that the gimmick that it did have left me desiring more. Like I kind of wish it was more about that, and it was expanded upon in more different ways. Like
Just to give it a slight, not to make it a total love fest on my end. The My main issue with that game, Eagle Island, is what I had wrong with Sparklight. I wish they both dropped the whole like rogue light element and just chose for like pre-designed structured levels and worlds. Like
right,
there's a sort of throwaway plot element in Sparklight why that's the way it is because the whole world shifting dynamic. Like well, the
earthquakes.
earthquakes, that's where everything changes. I get it, but that's not. It's like how do you explain away randomness of levels? Well, we'll throw this in here. Why not? There's no reason for it in Eagle Island that I know of. It's just like here's the island and things change. Um, the overworld is the same, but the dungeon maps are always random. I feel that if it was just design levels that were with intent and a purpose, it would help highlight and underscore like the gorgeous sprites and all that. But it takes away from it, I feel.
Right.
It's again, I'll always point to chat to Chasm. I almost said Chasm. I'll point back to Chasm, which I loved, but it you can't do a Symphony of the Night style game and then do random levels. Something feels wrong about that to me. You need a clear direction. It's like directing a movie. You have to show me things. Show me your vision. Don't let a machine do it for you. So I feel I could easily like between those two games, they can both drop out, and we have a
Hmm.
Cardpocalypse and a Freedom Finger head to head at
So
this point.
Cardpocalypse, I feel like, is probably the most unique of the four. It definitely took uh, a very, very different approach to what a card game is
Mm-hmm.
because it's really not a card game. The card game is just the way you battle.
Right.
And it's not even battling in your traditional, like, oh, I'm fighting monsters and I have cards that do attacks.
Yeah.
No,
It's got
the
five
actual,
defense and two attack.
right, the actual conflicts in the game are kids playing a card game.
Right.
So it's not, and every time I've played, I don't think I've ever had to win because it's just kids. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. You lose, you win, it
Right.
doesn't
And
really
I
matter.
think it also gets bonus points for being a single player card game,
Right, exactly. A
which to
single player card game
me,
that, and the card game continues to evolve too.
right. And that totally flips the idea of what a card game is upside down. Because you think solitaire is the only kind of single player card game you can think of.
Right. I think that the storytelling's really cute. I think the art is really nice.
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
also the Freedom Finger. That has
right.
amazing voice
Well.
acting.
So here's the thing about Freedom
Right.
Finger. Freedom
This
Finger
is a hard choice. I'm not gonna lie.
is in a genre that has been done to death, and somehow Wide Right was able to make a completely unique shoot 'em up
Mm-hmm. Shmup.
that I have never seen before.
Yeah.
The way the music interacts with the action on screen,
Mm-hmm.
when it ramps up, the action ramps up. When it slows down, and it's all the levels are meticulously designed to go with the track that accompanies
See
it.
that intent, design. See how much it matters?
Right.
It really matters.
Everything is painstakingly hand drawn. The actual combat is different than any shoot 'em up I've ever seen because you could do melee and you could grab any enemy, anyone,
Mm-hmm.
and use them as a weapon
It's like
in some way, shape, or form.
I think we likened it back to Einhinder, which is one of my favorite PS1 shmups
Mm.
ever released. That game got to come back. But
And then the
it's
voice acting, like you
right.
said.
So it's like you have on the one hand, you have a this charming like schoolyard throwback playing as a kid in a wheelchair, which is so endearing. And it's got so much humor. And again, it's a single player card game, which is nuts to me how it works so well. because you would think it would work better as a multiplayer game, but it's actually this is the best format for Card Apocalypse. But then you have Freedom Finger. You play as a giant middle finger spaceship that's fighting Russians and then then the Chinese, and it's so funny and so well written, and it's fun, and it has one of the best soundtracks this gen, I feel, because every level kicks ass, and to see the music going so well with the level design, like they didn't have to do that, but they did.
I know. And yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
really think if it was like a rapid fire question and you're like Carpoplix or Freedom Finger, I would say Freedom Finger.
well, let's see what the envelope says.
Oh shit, here we go.
And the winner is Freedom Finger,
There it is,
Wide
baby.
Right Interactive.
There it is. Yeah, this is a tough one. I feel like these are all great games. I really see how see when you talk things out, Steven, it helps.
Of course.
Because I can have a blind loyalty to Eagle Island. It's such a great game. Like, you're wrong. I'm that lady in that meme. Eagle Island, and you're like, that middle finger to my face.
Other games happen too, right?
The cat give me the middle finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk things out. We have a nice level-headed discussion. Fuck you, you're wrong. And yeah. All right.
All right,
the
Andy.
next category.
You get the next category.
Ooh, baby.
Now this is the tough one.
Tough, yes, but I think I have a good argument for my pick. Okay? For what I believe should be the Nindie of the year. We have 6 games in this category. Huge year for Nindies. Huge. For Nindies of the year.
Love it.
All right. And the nominees are, a quick recap for you guys. Cadence of Hyrule, Creature in the Well, Ape Out, which was released, I think, as of this recording on the Epic Store as a free game. For the
Free
holidays.
game. I claimed it.
Love that. Great game. You're going to love it. Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayan.
Indeed.
Sparklight,
Yes.
who got the award for being in 2 categories this year. I think the only game to be in 2 categories.
Yeah. I mean, I as much as I was poo-pooing it compared to the others, it was through the lens of it being a first showing. I mean, it still has some negatives that you need to put up against the rest of these, but go ahead, continue.
And finally, Mistover.
Yeah.
A lot of games. A lot of great games.
Mm-hmm.
I think looking at this list, we can knock out a couple off the bat. I'm going to say Ape Out can go. It's a great game, but it doesn't quite stack up with the other ones.
Okay.
It's very artsy, very minimalistic. It's short too. Not a lot of replayability in that game. You could beat it in a weekend, or even in one night, if you're that determined to play a game till the end. It has, I think, 3 or 4 because it has like A sides and B sides, like an album format when you play the game. Sparklight, I think, can also go because of our previous discussion, because I feel it doesn't quite measure up with what's going on here. And I think Mistover can go.
Interesting.
As well. I wasn't a fan of that game. I can't make a strong case for it. I can't even say I liked it. It didn't grasp me. I mean, I know it got you in a lot of ways. It's got a great art style. It's got a great combat. But I think the battles go on for so long, it kind of gets a little dull.
Yeah, for me, the battles were long only in the beginning. And once you get different combos that you could unlock and like boosts and things like that, and then you could go back to the dungeons that you could kind of handle better, and like level up a little bit, the game gets a lot easier. I think again the fault with this game is its randomness,
right?
And it's mostly. I mean, it's definitely a cool thing to have when you're going back and playing old dungeons again, but the way that they build their random dungeons is kind of on purpose making it as difficult as possible. Like there's almost no rhyme or reason to anything. So you can't there's no right path, put it that way. Like if you have to get to a treasure chest or whatever, there might be 15 globs of poison floor in your way, or there might be only 10, or but it changes from time to time and you don't know where it's going to be or how it's going to do it. But you might have to go through poison to get somewhere, and then in another run you might not. And I think that's weird. I feel like
Yeah.
if you're gonna put reward there, you can't put things I can't avoid in the way, unless it's purposeful, unless it's like, oh, this is a boss fight, you have to get through this boss to get this treasure. Great, that's fine. But you're making you're making me use um my hunger or whatever the hell it is to get around a path to see if there's another path that isn't poison, and oh shit, it's more poison.
Yeah, it's kind of like this weird, like artificial game length thing going on because there's
Right.
that part in the battle themselves or in the beginning drawn out. And I feel,
Yeah.
listen, I'm with you. Like, if I had given this game an honest shot, which I think I will at some point when I stop playing old PS1 games, which will never happen ever in my life, um, it'll rise to like a decent to great game. But I
You know what I
feel,
what I
given
think about?
what else is in this nominee list, is these other games, they kind of gripped us almost immediately. And I think that's what we can easily say. Okay, great game, great nominee. But I think at this point it should be out of the running altogether. Like it's
I
there, but it's not. Yeah.
I, I think Mistover's biggest problem was I feel like it might have been a microtransaction game that they removed microtransactions.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, even at a quick glance, it has that sort of like
It feels
that
like a
anime.
freemium
It
game.
does. That is, so you know what? I think if we did it as a freemium game, they might not take it as seriously. They might brush it off. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening.
All right, so Mistover's out.
So we got three left.
Okay. Give me your case for Cadence of Hyrule.
Um,
I didn't play it.
aside from the fact that I think it represents Nintendo at its best this year, its willingness to hand over an iconic IP, they trusted it to an indie dev to do something great with it, and they knocked it out of the park. This game, like, I love most Zelda games. There's a few, like Skyward Sword, that I wasn't really a fan of, and Twilight Princess I had issues with as well. But this game is a celebration of all things Zelda, and having grown up on these games, hearing the soundtracks being played really made me smile. Plus, it has some really fun and unique rhythm based gameplay, which is wild considering it's has that Zelda overlay going on. Plus, we just got free DLC for this game not too long ago.
Hmm.
And that's how we sneak in some news in the awards section for this episode. Um, and I think it shows what can happen when you have a talent that knows what they're doing and you have a big time publisher slash dev like Nintendo saying, here, little guy. Like their game, Necrodancer, great game, but it wasn't like this huge thing. It wasn't like to the level of a Shovel Knight. Like, yes, people loved it. It was well reviewed, well received, but it wasn't on this astronomical level. So to have Nintendo hand them this IP and say, here, we trust you with this. And the result is better than what you'd expect. And you know what? What better game to give the award of Nindie to? It is a legit Nindie indie
Mm,
in every way.
yeah.
And that's my case for Cadence of Hyrule.
Well,
right there.
to me, it just feels like a reskinned Crypt of the Necrodancer with a couple of added little tweaks to
Mm,
make it feel a little bit more Zelda.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, if that was Crypt of the Necrodancer 2 and it was the same gameplay, just didn't have the characters of Zelda, would you think the same way?
That's a hard question, but you know
Like
what? It's
that's what I feel about Breath of the Wild. Like if you take Link and Zelda and Ganon and whatever the fuck out of that game, is that game a 10 out of 10? Probably not.
I mean, you do walk a lot in that game. It is like a cartoonish Death Stranding in a lot of ways,
Yes.
with all the physics and the soundtrack back it up.
I'll let you ponder that
See now,
cuz
as I think about it, when I made my case for it's a Nindie indie, I'm looking at your choice here, Sydney Hunter, who really puts the Nintendo in the Nindie,
mm,
because it is in a lot of ways like just an all-out love letter. Which I hate that phrase. I feel like it gets used way too often
a lot,
and
yeah.
everywhere. But it is a reminder of where games came from, and it wears all that baggage that comes with a retro game kind of proudly. It has a few modern sentiments and design
Right.
choices, which
When
of
when
course,
they designed it for new hardware. They
right,
designed it with you know, they're not making an 8-bit game. They're
right,
making an 8-bit looking game, but they're
yes.
making something that we remember and kind of play with it. And for
But
me,
this
go ahead.
game, I'm not cut you off, but this game really does feel like it was ripped from the NES library, like without a doubt. The way it
Yeah.
feels, controls, moves.
The
The
spirit of it.
yes,
Um Outside of that, I think that the actual design choices they made as far as what you do in the game was really a lot of fun. It always had some sort of carrot at the end of the stick. Collecting those skulls and finding where they're hiding was in some cases really easy, but it was always fun to do it, and there were a lot of them to find because and you would use them to unlock other levels, and those levels would be themed after, some of them would be themed after elements and yada yada. And then you had those Mega Man like boss battles which are just so much fun. Like that's the best part of Mega Man is seeing what the boss looks like and how it's going to fight you and then the power you get, right?
right.
And while the power you get thing isn't really there, but you still get to see how this god, because that's what they are, they're gods, how it's going to manifest, what it's going to look like, and how it's going to try and fight you, and how you're going to outsmart it. My one complaint about the boss fights was that it seemed to do the same thing no matter what you
Well,
did.
I was gonna say you don't learn from the old games that much because at least they had patterns or different patterns. They seem like you have one fight and you lose. You go into a second round and it's more or less the same. You know when to jump, you know when to dodge.
Right.
So I feel you lose some of that old school randomness. Like the Mega Man games, I think the bosses had about two or three, or maybe even four patterns. So you were always on your toes. This feels like it is a little bit too dumbed down.
Yeah,
And
it's a little bit. It's almost cheap in some ways
right,
because it's like you have to be kind of precise in some of the
right.
places that you stand and whatever.
Mhm.
But once you get it, it's almost like a Contra game. Like once you figure out where to stand, when to drop, when to point up, when to whatever, you figure all that out. You're fine. But again, the wonder of the boss battle is what's really the cool part. If executing it does fall a little bit short, but everything else is so much fun. Like just the platforming is fun. The exploration is fun. All the conversations you have with all of the locals, the NPCs are hilarious. It's self aware. It knows it's goofy and silly. I think Sidney Hunter is a really fun character. I think he's well designed. He's like an Indiana Jones
Mhm.
meets like Cubert or some shit like that.
Right.
He's just very cute. The music is fantastic. The sprite work is brilliant. Level design is perfect. It's purposeful. Again, handcrafted. Um,
All
I
right,
just think they
so
did such a
listen.
great job.
How about this? I feel like I kind of get you. Um, I feel with Cadence of Hyrule, I can kind of see your reskin argument, and I think that could drop it a peg or two because it's not an original game because it was based on Necrodancer. Um, and I think it's the best collaboration, even better than even what you call it, Hyrule Warriors that came out not too long.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Oh,
Um,
absolutely. But again,
but
Hyrule
but
Warriors is a reskinned Muso.
right. But if we're talking dungeon crawlers, can we not? Are we going to just ignore Creature in the Well?
No, but my only argument against Creature in the Well is in a dungeon crawler, you there's a little bit there for everyone in a dungeon crawler. Like if you're a tank like character, if you like to shoot from a distance, if you like to do this or whatever, or you're a magic user, you have those options in a dungeon crawler. In this one, it's like, are you good at pinball? Are you good at bouncing
Well,
balls off
here's the
walls?
thing. I can look at Sydney Hunter and say, I know what I'm getting when I play this game. Creature in the Well, you don't really know what's going to happen in that game. At first glance, you
Yeah.
can't peg it. You really can't. Plus, I think it takes more of a risk with its design and art style. Sprites are great, and I'm always a proponent of sprites. I will defend that to the death. Pixel art all the way, baby. But this game's design choices, the cinematic camera, the atmosphere it can create. You're not a you're a silent protagonist, yes, but there's a creature that always is hounding you and taunts you, which has a lot of character, more than between both you and the robot that you play as. And I think that's why for me, it edges out Sydney Hunter because it doesn't play it safe like Hunter does.
Mm. I feel like Sydney Hunter really wasn't playing it safe because it used two games as its inspiration. Well, three.
Right,
The
but
Metroidvania and Mega Man. I don't think you're playing it safe when you say we are combining those three games into one.
aren't you though?
No, I mean that with that comes a lot of weight.
Well, you're taking tried and true formulas, and
You're taking ravenous fan bases and saying that
you're
you're
not
making a game.
you're not meshing together like Punch Out and Mega Man. It's like you're missing these three genres or the IPs. They marry very very well together. I mean, Metroidvania and Mega Man. What are you really doing there? You're giving yourself a boss that can give you an ability at the end of the whole dungeon crawling map exploration part of the game. And it's not even that much in depth. The maps aren't that huge in Sydney Hunter. They're not huge in Creature either. They're kind of on the shorter side.
Creature for me was more
Creature feels very
frustrating.
experimental too when you play it.
Yeah, but it was frustrating and beautiful and haunting. But like fun is definitely not a word I would use. I didn't have
when are you gonna start
fun.
playing Death Stranding, by the way? Because I feel you should come
Very
back
soon.
and snip out that whole phrase when you play the game. Though I will add that it was fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. But I can see the frustration because Creature, there's a precision there with the aiming of the ball as you straight to strike them in certain areas, and the bosses are the bosses in quotation marks because they're not really bosses. It's like a gauntlet, really.
It's like a final.
It's like a
test.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Those got annoying after a bit because they were very, very difficult in some regard.
In some of those puzzles, you could just stand there and just whack a ball away.
You
just
could,
like
yeah.
send a bunch of them.
And you know what?
In many
At
different
times,
directions
it
as you
could
can.
feel a little bit mindless early on, anyway.
I felt like when I figured something out and I moved to the next one, I was more dreading having to figure out another one than I was excited to see what the next one would be. The
Okay.
parts that I was excited about were when I get kicked back out to
Mhm.
the little town and you see how that's changing. Like that part excited me, or like unlocking more of the mystery of what's going on in that town was exciting.
And the weapons too were always fun to get a hold of.
Yeah, but
Because they all,
some
they
of
all
them
did
really
they all
didn't
did different
change
things. Well, they
anything.
did. They changed your shit up dramatically.
I mean,
Like it made the game way easier. That's for sure.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
But again, I
um,
feel. Listen, I think I'm kind of. I feel like Creature in the Well is great, and for someone like me that appreciates a good soundtrack and a unique art style and the sort of semi subversion of the dungeon crawler genre.
without loot, by the way.
Yes, without loot at all. Um, it works. It works great. But this is the Nindie of the year, and
Right.
I think Sydney represents something bigger than what Creature did. It
Interesting.
yeah, I think it really highlights the things we knew and love as we were when we were kids, and it does it really well. It could have been easy to say, "Oh, it's this Mega Man with well, you have a whip instead of a gun." They could have played it safer. I want to say, like there wasn't a lot of risk involved in this game, but they could have made it a lot less risky. If that makes any sense to you whatsoever.
Well, yeah, because they've done Sydney Hunter games before. This
Right.
isn't the first one.
Right.
They could have just followed that same formula.
Okay.
All
I
right,
think
let's see what the
well, yeah,
envelope says, because
let's open that bad boy up.
it's not up to us, Andy.
Oh, it's not at all. No, we're just saying our bullshit words here.
The winner is
Missed over.
Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayan.
Woo!
Congratulations, Sydney Hunter.
And now the final. Oops, that's the wrong font. Highlight color.
That made my eyes bleed.
Sorry.
All right, and now it is time for the Nintendo Game of the Year,
Oh,
and the
boy.
nominees are, from Andy's side, Astral Chain and Link's Awakening. From my side, Pokemon Shield and Mario Maker 2. Now, I'm going to start with my Mario Maker 2 argument because I wanted to make this very clear. I am solely basing that off of what I have seen that game has done to the online community
But
and
I've seen that
streaming,
game undo.
because I have not played it ever. I am nominating a game that I've never played. How could I do that, you ask? Here's
I
the
don't
thing.
think you can. That should be
Well,
like
here's the thing.
we need like
Here's
a house
why.
committee rules because that's not. I feel like I
Well,
can.
hold on. Now, wait. Let me make my point. You played it extensively.
Yes.
So I'm making this was the only reason why you didn't nominate this is because I already put it on the dock.
Yeah, you did, asshole.
So here's why. This is my half of the argument.
Right.
My half is that this game is going to live for a very long time. It's already getting iterated on. The level designs that people are making are outstanding. This should have been called Mario Brothers Infinite, is what it really should have been called. And what it has done to Twitch and YouTube and Mixer and all these services, these streamers and these video content creators, it is a wealth of highly entertaining content.
It's a fucking gold mine.
Now, I am not a huge 2D Mario guy, but even I can recognize that what's the quality that's coming out of the community in Mario Maker 2 should be right in the face of Nintendo, and they should be saying, wow, there are really talented people out there. We need to step our game up.
You know what? I don't think I want to award a game of the year that reminds me of how creatively bankrupt I am.
Okay, but what about playing it?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Um, I feel between your two choices, I want to take a huge dump on Pokemon Shield.
You haven't even played them.
I have played it. I don't think it's game of the year
No.
material. I think the other ones dwarf it by
I don't
a
think
long
Link's
shot.
Awakening dwarfs it.
Okay, fine. Luigi's Mansion 3 dwarfs it completely, which was on our list, by the way.
Luigi's Man, I didn't see as much of a fervor, and I didn't, and
Yeah.
unfortunately could not play it. So it
All right.
might be somebody
I
else's.
think.
Remember, these are. Let me make something clear to the listener. These are our favorite, or what
Right.
we
I
think
think
was important to us.
we can forego the formalities here. I think this will come down to Astral Chain and Mirror Maker 2.
Yes, but I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to let Pokemon go down without a fight.
You can fight all you
So
want. Go ahead. Give it to me.
Pokemon Shield, while it definitely did not reinvent the genre, the games like we were hoping they were. We have to keep in mind that this game had less than 3 years of development. We also have to keep in mind that regardless of that, they still brought in completely new to the genre to their franchise mechanics, the wild area and how gyms work and all of that stuff. They completely reinvented it. Now, what's exciting about this, about what Shield and Sword have done, is that this is now the bedrock of which these games going forward are going to be iterating off of, right? And I think this Pokemon game, has done more for Pokemon in general, for the genre of video game in general, than anyone since Gold and Silver. Gold and Silver, having you go to both regions and like all that crazy shit was like, holy crap, there's a ton of Pokemon, right? Now, Sword and Shield, of course, there's Dexit and all that crap. That it doesn't matter. I would rather them focus on new Pokemon, which they did for the most part.
I'm with you on that for sure, 100%. 100%.
But they completely. This is only the second Pokemon game where I felt like the region had its own personality. Sun and Moon in the Alolan region being the other.
Right. Well, when you're not in some
all the
just,
other
like,
ones are just
same-
carbon copies
same
of something.
town with
Right.
the same buildings and shit. It's like, well, yeah, now you're on a beach.
The architecture
Feels
and
very
also
different.
like the characters speak differently.
Right. Well, if we had some voice acting in there, maybe it will aspire to Game of
Yes,
the Year
I
quality.
think here's the thing. I think if Mario Maker 2 didn't work, if they really didn't let you play with your friends and it was
Oh my
a
god,
shit
remember that?
show, yeah,
Remember that crap?
I would say Pokemon
That
Shield
was
was definitely
real.
better.
That happened one time.
Um,
No, I don't think so. Because even if you take out the whole friend code fiasco that was Mario Maker 2 when it first was released, it completely rewrites Mario Maker. Like it,
all right, so why are you taking Link's Awakening off the list?
Well, here we go. So Link's Awakening, I loved it. I did a whole weekend binge on that game. I couldn't stop playing it. But it is a 1-for-1 remake of the Game Boy Classic. It tries nothing new aside from the little Zelda dungeon maker thing, which feels a little cheap and kind of half-assed. It's like an afterthought. It's fun to build your own dungeon and then kind of
I think it's a demo.
right, and then fight through it to get some, arbitrary hearts or rupees or whatever it may be. You get to see where you plan the bosses, you plan the chest. It's all on your end. It's nice to build that out, but it's just placing tiles. It's not complete freedom, as it were. It lacks. It's like Mario Maker, not even light. It's less than light of Mario Maker. And I love the art style. Even though I was first shitting out when I was like, what is this fucking plastic Link you're showing me? Like, get out of here. But then I was like, oh, he has a face that moves and oh, there's fish and he's fishing and he looks so cute while he fishes and he got a little sword and he's like, oh, he's so fucking cute. But
They've named him Toy Link, right?
Is that his name now?
I think so. I think that's what the community's calling it.
Fuck, I'll take Baby Yoda all over again. It's not fucking Yoda, people.
Like we have Teen Link,
not fucking
we have
Yoda.
Toon Link, and now we have Toy Link.
He is a Toon Link though, because Toon Link exists. Becomes Toy Link.
No, I just think he looks like a toy.
Wouldn't
He's got
wait,
those lifeless eyes.
how about this? Wouldn't Toy Link be every Link in Smash Brothers per your head canon?
Yes.
There you go. All right. Anyway, yes, it's Link's Awakening, which we all know and love, and it's great for a new generation of gamers who never played it before. But it's very safe. It's very by the numbers. It is legit 1-for-1. Everything you knew about the original game is here with a fresh coat of paint. That's all it is. I appreciate the effort that went into it. Again, it's a link to the past. It's also that. But because it's not anything new. It doesn't challenge the genre the way the other ones do. Like Mario Maker, it can get so insane in that game. And if it was those two head to head, I'd have to give it to Mario Maker. So I think, while I do love it, I think it can't be. I can't safely say it can beat out Mario Maker 2 in a Game of the Year slot.
All right, so what's your argument for Astral Chain?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I think a lot like my argument for Cadence of Hyrule is that it speaks to Nintendo's great strengths going into 2020. And they've kind of leaned into a bit this year with No More Heroes, with the Travis Strikes Back game. They have strong third-party support, and they're coming in strong. And this is Platinum Games at some of their best work, I want to say. The combat, the music, the design, everything is great. And it's just so fun to play. And I think, for me, it earns Game of the Year because it's not a Nintendo game. It's not your Mario, not your Zelda, not your Metroid, not your Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a third-party game that can look and feel as polished as a Nintendo first-party franchise, that says a lot. And this has a lot of work put into it. My one little gripe, I would have ditched the whole sound protagonist thing. Doesn't work for me. That's my only complaint, though. Only complaint about this game.
Yeah, that is weird because they have voices.
Yeah, the supporting cast talks you all fucking a fuck ton.
Right.
They won't shut up at times, I feel. I don't know. It's a weird design.
Well,
design choice.
The envelope is on your side, so.
Oh, I get to open the envelope this time?
Yeah,
oh my
it's
God.
on your side, so you let us know.
Oh my God. All right.
What is our Nintendo Game of the Year?
I think our Nintendo Game of the Year is going to be... can you do the crinkly sound effect for me? I don't have a paper nearby.
I mean, you have
I'm
it.
not prepared. Yeah. I found it. And the winner
Can you
is...
blow in the envelope, please. Blow in the... There you go. All right.
And the winner is... Mario Maker 2. I couldn't in good conscience. I couldn't. Astral Train is great. I love it to pieces. But it just can't match the potential that Maker 2 brings to the table. Because you can play that game, it's going to be a different game every single time you play it.
Yeah.
And it gets new shit every day.
And if you're like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if we could do it? Yes, it would be. Go and do it.
You can
Go
search
make
some
it.
random word and you'll find something. You'll find a level built around that random word. penis, for example, I'm sure you'll find something.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Grundle, you know, you'll find some level. I was typing in random song titles, and I found whole levels that had the Mario Paint style music. It was incredible.
It's wonderful.
I think I found Bohemian Rhapsody. I found the theme to Neon Evangelion, which was amazing. And it's a fun party game too. When friends come over and just you take turns on the single player levels, you do the co-op ones together. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It's just I think it's unmatched. It really shows what Nintendo when they do something really well. It's just a standout. And it's like it's a purebred title. And I want to see more of it. And I can't wait for the Zelda DLC. Holy hell. That
Holy
looks like fun.
balls.
We hath
All
spoken.
right, folks.
Hath spoken.
We hath spoken. It is decided. So our winners this year: Publisher of the Year, Nintendo; Multiplayer Game of the Year is Killer Queen Black; Best First Showing is Wide Right Interactive with Freedom Finger; Nindie of the Year is Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayan by Collectivision Games; and then the Nintendo Game of the Year is Mario Maker 2. All right, so before we get into the wrap up and all that stuff, you guys want to help us out? You can. Go to meltedpins.com. That's right, meltedpins.com. Artist Kelsey Lynn creates unique hand-drawn tattoo art or inspired original pieces, and she puts them on stickers, pins, buttons, canvas bags, you would name it. It's there. You want something unique to bring to a party, you want a unique gift for somebody. I know the holiday season is pretty much wrapped up and you're probably not going to get it on time, but maybe you have somebody with a birthday in January and you want to get them something that they're never going to see anywhere else. You can find that at meltedpins.com, and you could support our show when you shop there by using the checkout code NDS Melted. You'll get 10% off your purchase. 10% off. What are you waiting for? You're going to support.
Do it.
You're going to support a local artist. You're going to support a small business. It's a win-win. Meltedpins.com. Checkout code NDS Melted. 10% off. Follow them on social media at Melted Pins. And that, folks, is going to bring us to the end of our program. Andy, it's been a pleasure doing this with you. This is our last NDS Podcast Awards.
Oh, my God.
Of course, we will be doing the Dual Screens Game
It's
Awards.
going to get tougher. We got more things to worry about next year. We have Sony games and Microsoft games and PC games. And
check back in mid-January to hear that.
It's going to be nuts.
For 2019. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, we have a lot of changes happening here, as I've mentioned at the top of the show. We're going to be doing 2 weekly shows going forward. Next week is the final episode of the Nintendo Dual Screens podcast, and then is going to change into the Dual Screens Games cast as of the first week of January, which we're going to be talking about all of the biggest game news. We're going to pick one major news story for each of the 3 major companies, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, and then we're going to pick a wild card. Be that, maybe an Epic game story or a Steam story or, 2K Games had said something crazy, whatever. EA, Stadia, I know that's your favorite example.
All right, I love it so much.
But that's what we're gonna. That's what we're gonna do. I'm still workshopping a format, on paper, but that should be fun. That should be a good one. And of course, you could catch on every Thursday. You could catch the Dual Screens podcast, which is us talking to the people that make the games we love, which is really off to a really strong start.
And the game that you should love too, guys.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And on Thursday, when I say we, I mean gamers.
Mm-hmm.
And on Thursday, you can check out our episode.
Not you.
No. On Thursday, you can check out our episode with Killer Queen Black, which we discussed all about that, which is really cool. Liquid Bit was on to talk about that, and it was a really good show, and I really enjoyed it. It was beautiful. It was awesome.
That was a great show.
Folks, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, and you will get all of those shows. And Our first seasonal content is going to go up the second week of January, and it's going to be bi-weekly from there, and it's going to post on Fridays, and that is going to, our first show is going to be Andy Explains It All, where Andy is going to explain some shit I know nothing about, and it's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
I get to ask dumb questions. He gets to give me dumb answers. It's essentially
think
one
I
idiot
have my-
who knows something telling an idiot that doesn't know something.
But I
about
fake
that
it
something.
most of the time.
I don't know.
You-
You've never faked that.
You got to fake it.
You've never faked that. You cannot fake the amount of bullshit you know about things.
That's true. I wouldn't hide that well, because I'm like the actually guy. Actually, you're wrong. Yeah, I'm right, and you're an idiot.
So, do you want to know what I'm choosing to know about?
Oh, you get to pick. This should be fun.
Yeah. I'm going to let you know now so you can start doing your research.
Yeah,
and get
I
your notes
think
together.
I like the pilot version, but I think I need notes, bullet points, a well-structured, laid out doc,
Sure.
because I feel like this should be a well-polished series.
Uh-huh.
And my hope is that one day we get so big that someone animates Andy Explains It All on YouTube. So it should be a well-oiled machine, like myself.
So the first
So you
one
get
that I
something.
want to ask you about is not gaming related.
Oh no! Please don't say
That's
gay
right.
sex.
No. And it's not movie related per se.
Okay.
But it has to do with a person who has been the inspiration for many of your favorite movies.
Uh-huh.
I want to know
Right.
what you know
Uh-huh.
about Stephen King.
Oh shit. I have to explain Stephen King to you.
Because I know a few of his movies, obviously. I've never read any of his books. I know he's extraordinarily prolific, but I also know he's done things that I probably would like, I don't know, The Dark Tower.
Now, do you want this more biographical? Do you want some funny,
I want
fun facts about his life?
No. Here's what I want. I want you to tell me what I should know about Stephen
All
King.
right.
What has he done in my life that I didn't know he did?
I feel
What about... Go ahead.
the thrust should be, if you're at a cocktail party and Stephen King came up, you could impress some people.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea
with the
here,
facts
is that
that
I
you-
want to know. It's not just facts. Like I also want to know, like, about his biggest franchises, what they are, and what was good, what was bad about
This
them. I
cannot
want,
be off the cuff. This has to be very well researched. I have entire books that are just about Stephen King,
exactly.
which is insane.
And I know you're passionate about horror and
Right.
thriller and suspense, and I feel like if there's any idiot out there that knows way too much about Stephen King,
it's likely me.
it's probably you.
Oh, I did watch Doctor Sleep this weekend too. That happened.
Oh, well, you could bring that up.
Yeah, that was actually a very competent sequel. The book wasn't that great, but the movie did very well.
I'm happy to hear.
Very, very well.
I always wish you luck when you're going to see a new Stephen King or horror movie.
Yeah, me
I do.
too.
Folks, that's
Me
going to do
too.
it for the episode. If you want to follow us on social media, you could do so. We are at NDS Podcast. I am at Batchild27. And by the way, that NDS Podcast, that's not going to change because fuck it.
I'm gonna give a
The
shit.
name might change, but the
Yeah.
URL, it's not going to change.
Yeah,
We're
well,
at NDS Podcast.
it's-
at New Dual Screens
It's
Podcast.
the new Dual Screens podcast.
Right. There you go.
That's how we do it.
I am at Batchild27. Andy is at Pants Guy. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/Dual Screens Podcast. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dual Screen Streams. If you want to follow me, I'm going to start streaming on my own. I'm going to do that on Twitch as well. That's going to be twitch.tv/Batchild. That's twitch.tv/Batchild. I just figure if I'm going to be streaming Apex and stupid games that have nothing to do with dual screens, I might as well do it on my own channel. Our contributors, Zazu Pitts of Cyrano Productions for our theme song, 16-Bit Attack. Matt Murray, who is a contributing editor and also has done a lot of our logos and Twitch art. Dan Colonna, who designed our NDS podcast logo. And Andrew Douglas, who has done all of our cartoon art. You can follow Andrew on social media at Angiemoto. You can follow Dan at Dan O'Mac. Matt Murray is at Mr. Nuff. I don't know if there's a number there, and Zazu's not on Twitter. Again, guys, if you want to support our show, aside from visiting our sponsor and just liking us, you could also buy our merch. Go to teespring.com/store. No, shop. No, it's store. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. I always forget the link. Teespring. Where the hell are we? Sorry, guys. I had this in the doc, but I used an old doc, so now I don't know what I'm doing. Storefronts. Here we go. It is teespring.com/stores/dual screens shop. But you could just look for dual screen shop and it'll show up. We have a couple of items up there and more to come with the new stuff that's coming in 2020. Obviously, we're going to have new stuff for you to look at. And of course, the best way you could throw your money at us is going to Patreon and go to patreon.com/NDS podcast. 2020, Andy, a lot of changes to the Patreon. A lot of really cool stuff happening. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to? No, we'll talk about it next week, right?
Keep that for next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. All right, Andy, is there anything you want to tell the kids before we go?
Just check out Thursday, Liquid Bit, Killer Queen Black. Great episode.
Yeah.
And I'm going to miss this show. Like, I'm glad we're moving on to a more broader games discussion. Because, I feel it was the right timing with the new console gens coming out like next year, PS5, the Xbox Series X. It's time to evolve with the gaming sphere, as it were. But I will miss this show. It means a lot to me. And I want to thank all the listeners who were there from day one.
Well, don't get too emotional. We still have
next
week.
Wait till next week. I know. But yeah, that's it. We'll see you next week. And I love you to pieces.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
Okay.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you, Andy. This has been Nintendo Dual Screens episode 132 for the week of December 23rd, 2019. Take care. And as always, please be excellent to each other.